Number one, as this has kind of developed during the last few months, what has gone through your mind as a CEO?
Yeah, the big thing is just making sure that we are keeping our members top of mind, and we are making sure our priority is always that their financial well-being and security is there and they are protected. So financial education has been so imperative during all of this.
How concerning is this, though? Because we've been hearing from people who are losing a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. People work really hard for their money, and for it to then just go and they don't have that in their possession anymore, it's horrible. It's horrible. I can only imagine that sickening feeling that they're feeling.
What is the best advice right now? If I'm a customer of Michigan First, what should I be doing? Who should I be communicating with? What shouldn't I be doing? Just kind of run it down for me so I have an understanding.
Yeah, so spoofing is when the fraudster is impersonating the phone number of any business, and the caller ID, we can no longer trust caller ID. So we are telling members, don't even answer the phone if you don't know who's calling you. And if they're really important, just let them leave a voicemail, because then you can call the number that you know and trust back. For us, we have a 24/7, 365-day-a-year call center available. We invest a lot of money in that because we want our members to know that it's us. We are not outsourcing that. We are available at 2 o'clock in the morning. If they're concerned about their account or they have a question or they need us right away, we're there for them.
So what's happening? How are these scams typically playing out?
So the fraudster is impersonating the phone number. So again, we can no longer trust the caller ID. And then they're trying to get as much information from the consumer as they possibly can. That means user IDs, passwords, unique security questions, PIN numbers, social security numbers, anything that is unique to the consumer that only the consumer would know, that they can't go and buy on the dark web themselves. And then what they do is they quickly spend the money however they possibly can and go.
And then by the time you're alerted or police are alerted or the attorney general, I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's very difficult to track the organization responsible for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So from a security and you know, from a security standpoint alone, I know we don't want to give much away, but this is something that you and your team have been focused on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We invest a lot in our state-of-the-art technology and ensuring that we are proactive and always understanding the fraud trends that are going on, and then of course educate our members as much as possible in all of the ways that we can educate them. In fact, we even have pop-up alerts that occur when a member logs into their online banking or their mobile app that has a quick little blurb about what the financial fraud trend is. And then the member must acknowledge that to then be able to access that.
A lot of times, yeah, we don't take the time to read those. I mean, we all see those, like we were mentioning with Ticketmaster. You have to click and agree to all the terms. You're saying take a moment and pay attention to the information from the bank.
Yeah, and try to communicate as much as we possibly can in all the different forms, from mail to a dedicated website that we have on fraud. So if you want to read up on that, we always have the ongoing fraud trends on there and available to our members. Have
you had to increase security at all just within the last few months? I mean, I've just been hearing about these particular scams related to your institution within the last few months. Has the tactics and the measures changed recently? Even more elevated, I guess you'd say? Yeah, so spoofing fraud has gone on for years, probably the last 5 years. It's not specific to Michigan First. It's not specific to the financial industry. Everyone really is feeling it that has a business. You probably have received emails yourself. What we have done is we have invested a considerable amount in ongoing technology improvements to ensure that we are protecting as much as we can on the front end and identifying the fraud before the member is able to, unfortunately, give out their information. So the main takeaway really is what it comes down to is most of the scams are happening via a phone, correct? Like an actual phone call, maybe not a text message. We think mainly phone calls, correct? Phone call mostly. If you receive a phone call and it comes up Michigan First Credit Union or Bank of America or Chase or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean that that is that institution contacting you.
Correct.
So unless you've initiated the call, the best advice is just don't answer it. We're all so tempted. When my
I know,
phone
'cause we wanna be nice and answer the
yeah, we
phone.
want to be nice and answer the
Yeah.
phone, but we really have to change the way we think about our own communication because of the times we live in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that these criminals, they want to get the information from you as quickly as possible. So if you just simply stop and think, does this really make sense? Just hang up the phone. Call the source that you know to be true before you do anything else. And if you pause and think, wow, does this really make sense that they need that information? I would tell you if we suspected fraud on your account would be locked immediately. You wouldn't need to tell us anything.